We met at 9.
We met at 8.
I was on time.
No, you were late.
Yes, I remember it well. We dined with friends.
We dined alone.
A tenor sang.
A baritone.
Mum!
There's that tone in her voice again. What's the word I'm looking for?
Mum!
It makes her sound aspirated. No, that's not what I meant to say.
Mum! What have you done with your mug?
Sometimes it takes me a while to find the right word, so I don't always answer straight away, and Ruth thinks I'm ignoring her. Wait until she gets to my age, then she'll know all about it.
Mum, have you moved it somewhere when I wasn't looking? Oh, there it is. I don't know why you brought it all the way in here.
I thought it would help.
Mum, I keep telling you, you don't need to help when I'm here. That's the whole point of me popping in every day. It's to give you a rest from all of this.
I'm not so far gone as I can't make a mug of tea.
Look, I bought you some custard creams from Mr. Singh's on the way over. I'll put a few on a plate for you. And I'll check the batteries in your hearing aid before I go. I'll leave some spares next to your bed.
It's the tone she uses when she's on the point of losing her, whatchamacallit. Like the last time we went to the theatre. I well and truly got the blame for that. I heard her telling Derek afterwards that I'd started to wander off on my own. I did not wander off. I did get a bit confused, but that was on account of us being out of our routine. When we get to the theatre, Ruth tells me we're sitting in the circle, but we always sit in the stalls. I mention this, and she snaps at me and tells me we were lucky to get in at all.
Mum, how many custard creams do you want with your tea?
I couldn't see from way up there. It was supposed to be a load of people pretending to be cats. But from where we were, they looked more like ants. And being that high up made me feel a bit giddy. But I didn't say anything on account of her snapping. I had to put my glasses on, but I'd only bought the ones for reading, so everybody looked the same. It's not like when you sit in the stalls. You can see them lift an eyebrow from there. She doesn't even bring me an ice cream at the interval. Just goes off up the back to use her mobile. And at the end, she's up out of her seat and tells me to wait for her at the back of the stalls while she queues for the loo. I try to tell her that we aren't in the stalls, but she's off like she has some train to catch. So I follow as quick as I can. I've still got my readers on, so everything's a bit out of kilter. And there's all these people going down the stairs.
Have you been watering this plant? It looks like it's wilting to me.
Next thing, I'm getting swept away, and I realise the stairs aren't all that even, and I'm trying to concentrate when I get the strap of me bag caught on the end of the rail. Nearly pulled me over. I would have fallen if it hadn't been for that man.
I left a note on the fridge to remind you. I wrote it in red so that it would stand out. Didn't you see it?
Can you imagine me in a heap on the stairs with all these people stepping on me? He got me out the way pretty sharpish, pushed down on one of them bar things, and suddenly we were out in the street. Of course, I hadn't a clue what street we were in. And somehow I'd lost my glasses. But he was incredibly kind, very patient. No edge to him at all. Took hold of my bag and started to lift everything out. I tried to explain to Ruth that he was being helpful, but she'd arrived with a policewoman. Seemed to have a tone to her as well. Ruth starts screaming blue murder, saying I need to check my purse for credit cards and the like. I didn't need any hearing aids listening to that. She makes it out to be the crime of the century. So we all have to go off to the police place and make statements, which takes forever. So that when we come out, Ruth has to phone Derek and get him to come and collect us, even though it's the middle of the rush hour and he's just finished work. She's always on that phone these days. She was on it just now in the kitchen. Pretended she wasn't, but I'm daft, not deaf. That's not right, is it? Fancy telling Derek that wandering off was my latest phase. I said to her, if you think I'm going to be wandering off all the time, why don't you put a lead on me? Made sure I said it with an edge to my voice.
Right, I've brought you 2.
2 what?
Custard creams.
Oh, I don't want custard with my tea, it doesn't go.
Biscuits, Mum.
Oh, I see.
From Mr. Singh's? He said you came in again yesterday.
Did I?
He said you didn't seem to know what you wanted.
I knew what I wanted.
Didn't seem like that to Mr. Singh.
I knew what I wanted when I left the house. I just got a bit confused when I was in the shop.
Yeah, he mentioned you were confused.
Doesn't miss much, that one.
Mum, you don't need to keep popping down to Mr. Singh's and wasting your money on stuff you don't need.
It gets me out.
Look, I think it's better if you go shopping with me from now on. Well, we can pop to Asda. You can have a coffee while I do a quick whiz round.
Well, that's not shopping, is it? Me sitting having a cup of coffee while you race up and down the aisles with the trolley.
Look, it takes 5 minutes in the car. It takes you twice as long to walk to Mr. Singh's.
Did you come in the car?
No, Derek wanted it. It's his day off.
Oh, I thought you might have come in the new one, the red one.
We haven't got a red car.
Last time you came in a red car.
No, Mum, it's black. You know that. You've been in it hundreds of times.
This wasn't your Germany car.
BMW, Mum. It's BMW. You know that.
No, it was red.
It's black. It's always been black. Have you had a sleep this afternoon?
I was thinking about what your dad used to say.
What are you talking about?
When something wasn't quite right, he'd say, sounds like rain falling upwards.
What made you think of that?
I always think of that when something isn't as it should be. Are you making a cup of tea?
Yes, Mum.
Exasperated. That's the word. I knew it'd fly in through the window if I gave it long enough. I do get a bit flustered in Mr. Singh's. Sometimes I just pick up whatever comes to hand. Came home with 2 tins of cat food last week. He's very handsome, is Mr. Singh. Bit too good looking if you ask me. And he has this habit of sneaking up on you. You think he's in the room at the back of the shop, and when you look round, there's his eyes staring at you from behind the walnut whips. I think he might live in that room. Once, when he'd left the door ajar, I think I saw the corner of a bed, although it might have been a couch. And he's a bit of a law unto himself. Sometimes, when I get there in the middle of the afternoon, he's not open. Oh, you'd never get that at Tesco. Once, I banged on the door, and he came out from the back room, and when he let me in, he made out that the door had jammed, and that I needed to give it a harder shove next time. I could see he had the keys in his hand. And all the time he's talking to me, he has this kind of arrow root expression.
What's the matter, Mum?
I was trying to think of a word.
What word?
A hoity-toity word.
I've just found 2 tins of cat food in the kitchen.
Have you?
What on earth are they doing there?
I was thinking I might get a cat. For company.
Mum, please stop wasting your money on stuff you don't need.
You look nice, dear.
Do I?
You look as if you're going out.
Yes, I am out. I'm visiting you.
Is that a new dress?
No,
Oh, it looks like it's
no,
new.
it's just that you haven't seen it before.
I haven't seen them shoes before either.
I've had these years. Look, I've left a note on the fridge door.
Who for?
For you.
Oh, there's no need. I know what the fridge door looks like.
To remind you that in future, if you need anything, I'll take you to Asda for it. I've written it on yellow paper so it stands out from the other notes.
There's more notes on that fridge than in the Bank of England.
They're only there to help you.
More notes on that fridge than in a orchestra.
And I've put a couple of mugs out with tea bags in them. They're next to the kettle in case you fancy a mug or two when I've gone.
Haven't you got any biscuits?
They're beside you, Mum.
Oh.
Well, what sort would you like?
Squidgy ones with what's it in the middle?
Jaffa cakes.
That's them.
Since when have you started eating Jaffa cakes?
I had some the other day when I was listening to the radio. Oh, did you hear?
Hear what?
Dusty Springfield's #1 again.
No, Mum.
Yes, it was on Radio 2.
No, I don't think so, Mum.
Yes, it was. The man was revealing the top 10 chart.
Mum, that was an old chart from the past.
No, that can't be right. What would be the point of an old chart? Who'd want to listen to that?
Would you really like some Jaffa cakes?
Oh, that would be nice, love.
I'll pop out and get some. I won't be long.
That's typical of Ruth. She's always been imploding. No, acting very quickly, you know, without thinking. Oh, it's a word like imploding, but not quite. No. I don't think she's right about Dusty Springfield. Why would the man on Radio 2 tell everyone she's #1 when she isn't? BBC wouldn't allow him to do that. Ruth's always doing that to me. I think I've got a grip on things, and then she tells me different, and everything changes. I don't think she realises that when she does that, I lose my hold on what's happening. This world doesn't make sense like the old one used to. Ruth tells me there's no call for records anymore, or photo albums, and apparently books are on the way out. I'm not sure whether she's telling me the truth. I don't tell her, but some nights I sit in the front room with my photos and I look at Ruth and me, back in the days when I was a mother. Some nights I don't make it upstairs, I fall asleep in there, and I wake in the morning with loads of pictures all over the floor, all of them looking up at me. It's like I've lived 2 different lives, a world then and a world now. I know they must be connected, but although I try, I can't seem to join the dots between them. My friend Mavis, from 2 streets down, she says that getting old is like flying a plane through a storm. Once you're aboard, there's nothing else you can do. Ruth says I'm better on my legs than Mavis. I don't tell her, but some nights I have to fill a hot water bottle just to make it up the stairs. She'd only create a fuss. She's one of those star signs, one of the difficult ones. No, the word's gone away. But I know she likes everything to be perfect. And everything isn't always perfect. You have to accept that. But Ruth's too critical. I remember the first time I held her. She opened her eyes and she gave me this look that said, I hope you're going to measure up to the role. She's never said, but I think she's found me wanting. These days, she just about tolerates me. I keep telling her, you have to learn to accept that people aren't always as perfect as you'd like them to be. And I tell her she'll be like it when she's in the September of her life. And then I think, suppose I'm not in the September. Suppose I'm in the November.
Ruth!
Who's that?
Ruth, are you there?
No, I'm Beryl, dear.
It's Derek.
Oh, that's all right then. Nice boy, Derek. Not a boy anymore, of course, but still nice. Quite a catch. Of course, Ruth found 1 or 2 things below par. I remember her telling me that she said she found his laugh irritating, but I didn't think that would be much of a problem, as Ruth's not famous for her sense of humour. But I've liked Derek from the off.
How's my favourite lady?
Ah,
Oh, brought you some chocolates.
must be my lucky day.
They're all soft centres.
They haven't got custard in them, have they?
Good to see you, Beryl. Sorry to confuse things.
I'm not confused. I know who you are, Derek.
Is Ruth here?
No, she's gone.
Gone?
Gone somewhere.
Well, do you know where?
Not here.
Are you okay, Beryl?
Too many questions. All these questions confuse me. I need a bit of thinking time to gather my thoughts.
You just take your time. I'm sure she won't be long, wherever she may have gone to.
I expect there's a note on the fridge about it. You sound a bit exaggerated, Derek.
Exaggerated.
Oh, wrong word. Don't worry. If I stay calm, it'll come. Shopping. That's it. She's gone shopping. We need... Oh, probably something I forgot. It's usually my fault.
You got the blame again, did you?
Well, she's a virgin. Virgins are never pleased.
Virgo, Beryl.
Not like me. I'm a lazy, lovable one.
I forget what star sign that one is too.
Oh, I'm glad you forget things too, Derek.
Mine like a sieve me.
These days I grab what words I can. Try and use them before they fade away. Are you going to wait for her?
Do you mind?
No. It's always a pleasure to see you.
Shall I make you a nice cup of tea?
Oh, no. That's Ruth's job. She'd be very cross if you did that.
Well, I don't mind.
Agitated. That's it. You seem a bit agitated, Derek.
Trouble parking. I didn't realise that they put double yellow lines outside. Just got me a bit flustered, that's all.
No stopping, except to drop people off.
I had to park in Manor Drive. I'm not sure how long you'll have to park there.
Did you come in the new one?
Which one?
The red one. It's new, isn't it?
Well, what makes you think we've got a red car?
Well, red cars can stop outside. I've seen them.
I think you're getting a bit confused, Beryl. Perhaps it was a post van, eh? Because they're red.
No, vans have a back to them. It wasn't a van. Mr. Sings.
What?
That's where Ruth is. I knew I'd remember if you gave me a bit of time. He makes me buy things I don't need.
I'm sure that's not true, Beryl.
Yeah, Ruth told me. She said I should go shopping with her from now on and drink coffee. I don't even like coffee.
I'm more of a tea person myself too.
Ruth likes all the modern coffees. Spends ages ordering. And then when it comes, it looks more like an ice cream than a drink. She has chocolate sprinkled on top, like dirty snow. I don't tell her that bit.
Best not to.
She can get very shirty short.
She did this morning.
Oh, what did you do wrong?
I merely said, would you like a lift round here? Nearly bit my head off. She said she's perfectly capable of walking and didn't need me interfering with her own organisation.
Have you come over to apologise? That's the best way with Ruth. I always say sorry, even when it's not my fault.
Can you keep a secret, Beryl? I've come over to surprise her.
Oh dear.
No, it's a nice surprise.
Oh, Ruth's never been a huge fan of surprises.
Oh, she'll like this one. I've got tickets for the theatre tonight.
I hope they're not high up ones.
Front stalls.
Oh, good. You'll be able to see the cats' faces.
It's the Sound of Music, Beryl. It only opened last week.
Oh, no, Derek, that's not right. I saw it with my husband and he's been dead quite a while.
It's a revival, Beryl.
Oh, I'm sorry, Derek. These days my mind takes the scenic route.
I thought I'd just come round here today and surprise her in person. That's if you don't mind me dragging her away from your ironing.
She doesn't do the ironing.
I know it's only temporary. Just want to go over that nasty burn.
What burn?
Well, the one that you did doing the ironing. Don't you remember? Ruth took you to the doctor's.
Oh, I remember him all right. He wasn't a real doctor.
I'm sure that Ruth wouldn't take you to someone who wasn't qualified.
Ruth said he was a special doctor. She said we wouldn't have to wait like we do at the surgery and we walked straight in. But I could tell straight away he wasn't proper. He didn't have a desk like Dr. Newton does. Just some couches and lots of cushions and flowers in a big vase. Ruth was very impressed. He made her a coffee from this machine. I asked for a cup of tea, but He said he didn't do tea. Didn't think much of that. He didn't even have a kettle and a tea bag. And he kept calling me Beryl, as if he'd known me for ages. I said I didn't want to waste his time and that I hadn't come all that way. And I wasn't ill. I could see Ruth's face tighten when I said that.
I can imagine.
He never even took my temperature. Just asked me loads of questions. And the more he asked, the more confused I got. It's not like when I was young anymore. Back then it took me 5 seconds to think. Now it takes me 5 minutes. People don't understand when your memories have gone into the shadows, it takes a while for them to come out. Too many shadows, that's what I've got.
What type of questions did he ask you?
Oh, daft stuff. Like, when was I born? As if I couldn't remember my own birthday. I gave Ruth a right look when he asked me that, but she pretended she was drinking her coffee. And he asked me the name of my husband, and of course I knew that. And I'd have been all right if he'd stuck with questions about me. But he moved on to stuff like the capital of France and who's the Prime Minister. I wasn't so hot on them. I catch him giving Ruth a quick look and I feel as if the pair of them are ganging up on me, so I get my gander up then. I tell them I know what their little game is and that I hadn't come all that way to take part in a quiz. Thought that would be the end of it, so I stood up. At least I tried to stand up, but the couch was so low I couldn't make it. And then he uses this voice.
What type of voice?
Silky, like Mr. Sings, all very calm and polite, says it would help him greatly if I could just answer 1 or 2 more questions. Ruth gave me one of her don't be difficult looks. The other questions were better. They were adding and subtracting. I've always been good at maths, so I sailed through them. Though you wouldn't have thought so if you'd seen his face. He looked a bit worried. Thought I'd get them all wrong, I expect, but I showed him.
I expect you liked the times table at school, didn't you?
Oh, it's funny. I can remember everything about school. The names of all the teachers and my friends. I can't remember what I did yesterday. If he'd have asked me questions about school, I'd have got them all right. I had a lot of friends back then. Not like now. I've only got Mavis and Ruth. And Ruth's not really a friend, she's my daughter.
Do you think she'll be long?
Oh, it's difficult to say when she's at Mr. Sing's.
Perhaps I should go down there.
Oh, I wouldn't do that.
Well, just to hurry her along.
Well, you might not get in. Not if he's locked the door. It's about this time of the afternoon he does that.
I don't think you've got that quite right.
I think he lies down on the bed.
You wouldn't have a bed, Beryl, not in the shop.
Not in the shop, no. He thinks I can't see in, but I can. I saw a red coat on it the other day.
Probably his wife's.
No, I've seen his wife. She wears one of those silky things, all very smooth, like Mr.
You
Singh.
must be doing something right. I would have thought the Tesco Express would have finished him off by now.
I'm back! Mr. Singh didn't have any jaffa cakes.
I could have told her that.
We thought you might like some lemon driftle cake instead.
You look wet, Ruth.
Yeah, well, it started raining on the way back.
Oh, well, Derek's here.
Yes, I can see that.
Well, you better take your coat off and sit down.
I haven't got time to sit down. I've got 1,000,001 things to do around here.
Derek's got something important to tell you.
What are you talking about?
Oh, I'm not saying any more in case I let the bag out of the cat. I expect you'll both be needing a cup of tea.
Yeah, I'll make that, Mum.
You know how to boil a kettle, Ruth. You need to hear what Derek has to say.
Well, this is a coincidence. I was going to text you to say I might be late.
Late?
Yes, late. I'm way behind on everything I've got to do here. I haven't made a start on the hoovering and I've got to make her something to eat for later on and lay out some clean clothes for tomorrow.
Well, she seems remarkably together.
Yes, well, you don't see her on a daily basis.
Well, she's fine as long as she doesn't get flustered.
It only appears like that.
You seem very smartly dressed for hoovering.
Yes, we do a call from social services.
You didn't say.
Yeah, well, they don't like to give notice on a visit, so I thought it best to look presentable, just in case.
It wasn't a criticism. It's just that I don't see you dressed like this very often.
Look, is everything all right?
Why?
Well, I thought there might be a crisis, you turning up unexpectedly like this. It's got Mum all excited.
I came here to surprise you.
It's a long time since I've had a surprise.
Yeah, your mum said you weren't too keen on surprises.
You're making me nervous.
Well, don't be. Look, I got this for you.
This looks very formal. Like something you'd get from the tax office. Well, you've even sealed the flap.
You're meant to open it, Ruth, not hold an investigation. I know you've been wanting to see it.
Oh, I have. I wasn't expecting this.
I thought you'd make an occasion of it. Stay overnight. I booked a hotel around the corner.
We can't do that.
Well, it's only for one night. We'll be home by lunchtime.
Well, how's Mum going to cope with me in London?
You want to give her more credit, Ruth. She's capable of doing more things than what you think. Can't you just make her a salad and put it in the fridge or something?
Oh, yes. I'll go to the vegetable garden and get a cucumber and lettuce and maybe some tomatoes from the greenhouse, shall I?
Well, that was a bit of luck, wasn't it? I'd already put out the tea bags and filled the kettle. Well, I never. There's even some biscuits over there. Oh, thank you. Well, don't just stand there. Help yourselves. So, what have I missed?
I'm trying to whisk your daughter to London to see the Sound of Music.
Oh, that's lovely. Isn't that lovely, Ruth?
But she's worried about you.
Oh, don't worry about me. I've already seen the Sound of Music.
We're thinking about staying overnight.
Oh, no, Derek. I don't think you'd be allowed to stay overnight in the theatre.
No, Mum. In a hotel.
Oh, sounds as if Derek has it all planned.
But the problem is I haven't made you anything to eat.
Oh, I wouldn't worry about that.
Well, you can't go without anything to eat.
I'll make do with a sandwich.
But you won't remember.
Write it down for me.
Well, how do I know you'll remember to read it?
Put it on the back of my chair. I'm bound to see it there.
Look, I tell you what, I'll pop down to Mr. Singh's and I'll see if he's
We
got any...
don't need Mr. Singh's help. I'll be fine with one of your notes. Look different, Ruth.
It's the dress.
Oh, is it a new one?
No, I bought it on holiday last year.
I've forgotten how much it suits you.
Have you got lipstick on as well?
Right, here. I've written it in capitals.
I don't need a note to remind me to eat. I'll eat when I'm hungry. Look at Derek, he's scrubbed up well. I've always liked a man in a suit.
Ruth chose it.
That shade brings out the colour of your eyes. Go and stand next to him, Ruth.
Oh, Mum.
Oh, go on. Oh, I must say, you make a grand. I've always thought that. Though your Auntie Shirley had her doubts.
Have you cleaned those shoes?
Of course.
That's a first.
You need to keep an eye on her, Derek.
Do I?
She has a habit of wandering off in the theatre.
I'm not going to wander off.
Glad to hear it.
I thought we'd have a meal before the show. There's a lovely Italian there, close by.
Are you okay with that, Mum?
Oh, yes, I like a meal before the show.
No, with me going.
I'm not going to burst into tears, if that's what you mean.
If there's a problem, you can always reach your Mum on my mobile. The number's next to the phone.
How will I see the number if it's next to your phone?
Your phone, Mum.
It's that tone in her voice again. Whenever I hear it, my world changes. It's not only Ruth. Shop assistants use it too sometimes. And the man behind the counter in the post office can be very sharp if there's a queue. I even heard it from the bus driver the other day. They wouldn't use it if they knew how nervous it makes me.
Mum.
I start to feel all my words dropping away, as if they're falling into a pond and sinking into the weeds. I try to fish them out, but they hide away. And all the time I see people staring at me, waiting. I expect this is how it's going to be from now on.
Mum,
Yes, Ruth.
Are you sure you're going to be all right with us going?
I'm more worried about you two.
Don't worry about us. We'll be fine.
Oh, your dad used to do that. Hold my hand when we went somewhere special. I like that. Made me feel wanted. You make sure you have a good time now.
We will.
And don't waste time worrying about me.
I'll call you from the hotel. Make sure you're okay.
If you must. Sometimes, when Ruth goes, this calmness comes over me, like a weight's been lifted. You don't have to say you love me just be close at hand. Oh, what's this? Make yourself a sandwich? Oh, Ruth, I haven't got time to make sandwiches. I've got to get down to Mr. Singh. Tell him about our change of plan. Tell him how we won't be using his shop anymore, because we're going to Asda. Nothing to do with him, more on account of the coffee. I'll tell him Ruth would have come in person, but she's gone up to London with Derek. And I'll tell him how pretty she looked and how after all these years I've got it wrong. She does like surprises after all. Oh, what's this one say? Don't go out, it's raining. Ruth, of course I'm going out. It's only a bit of rain.